Chances are, if you're watching a video from this channel, you most definitely have a Raspberry Pi. But this isn't any ordinary Raspberry Pi. It actually has what's called a hat on it. A Raspberry Pi hat not only adds functionality, but can also add inputs and outputs. And that's exactly what this one's doing. This one actually adds two RCA audio connectors. Well, not really two, because both of them work together to create a stereo output. The main reason you would add something like this is mainly for fidelity. If you have some speakers, some old bookshelf speakers, not unlike those right there, and you want to add AirPlay, multi-room audio, or anything close to that to your device, you're going to want to use something with higher fidelity. And this is exactly what this adapter does. But it's not only the hardware that makes it work well, it's also the software. Software that allows for AirPlay and Spotify Connect and all these services is also really important. So what I'm going to do is show you not only how to use the software, but also how to install it, set it up, and get your audio sounding perfect. Let's get started. Today, the speaker we're going to be using is a JBL Charge 4. This thing is awesome because not only is it portable and has a battery, but you can also power the Raspberry Pi from the USB port on the back. So you can make it portable, like actually portable, which is so awesome. You can be really creative with a case, but for now I'm just gonna electrical tape it together. Okay. And also, that's not the first time I've dropped this Raspberry Pi, because the SD card slot is broken. So what do you do to get the software installed? Well, that's actually really simple. All you'll need for now is a web browser. Now, first thing you're going to do is search up HiFiBerry. This is the brand of audio device that I got for my Raspberry Pi. It's really simple, and it's one of the easiest to install because all you have to do is slot it onto the pins on the Raspberry Pi. Those are called GPIO pins. So you're gonna see some awesome advertisement for some of their new products, and we're going to ignore it because I already have it, and I have the cheapest one, and it works fine. So now that we're on the HiFiBerry website, we're gonna go to documentation and HiFiBerryOS. So, as you can see, this allows for AirPlay, not Bluetooth because this is a different device, but Bluetooth is built into the JBL speaker that I'm using, so it's okay. DLNA, Logitech Media Server, MPD, Snapcast, Spotify, Roon, and Web Radio. Web Radio is not something you'll have to use, it's more like iHeartRadio, which you can just cast from your phone. So it also comes with some EQ settings. It's really meant for an almost audiophile setting, because if you are an audiophile, you're gonna be getting an AV receiver anyway. So, you see where it says Raspberry Pi 3? It's going to download here. And now we need some software to what's called flash it to the device. We're going to go and search up Raspberry Pi Imager. So, now that we have both the Raspberry Pi Imager installed and the HiFiBerryOS image downloaded, we can open the image and extract it to our downloads folder. It's going. Whee! And it's done. Now we open up our Raspberry Pi Imager, click on Operating System, Used Custom, and go to where you just extracted the file. This is going to be in my downloads. Choose Storage, and we are going to plug in our SD card with an adapter, which I'm just going to try and find here. Can't ever find the jack. There we go. And now we are going to have the option to select our SD card in the storage menu. Now, all you have to do is press right. It should go by fairly quickly. It's not a large file. And whopper my way. Here's the royal sauce. Has me tweaking, I'm the royal boss. So, because my Raspberry Pi kind of broke, I downloaded the Raspberry Pi 4 version of HiFiBerryOS. It is now flashed to the SD card, and I can show you how to finally set up the operating system. Insert your SD card, and power up the Pi. Okay, so the Raspberry Pi is going to take about 2 to 3 minutes to turn on, boot up, and get it self-situated. After that, we will be able to connect to it with the Wi-Fi on our phones. So, as a change of plans, I actually hooked it up to these speakers because using the JBL speaker with its own self as the power source was causing a few issues. So now the Raspberry Pi is being routed through my bookshelf speakers. Yeah. Yay. Okay, so now let's get on to the setup. The only thing you're gonna need for setup is your phone. So I'm gonna start my screen recording so you guys can see my awesome phone. And all we have to do is click on your settings icon. Click on HiFiBerry setup. The ending number is going to be different just so you don't overlap HiFiBerry devices. Okay, we connected. In a second, it should open up a page. It didn't. So now we are going to go into our browser and type in the IP address 10.0.0.1. Enter. Look at that. Welcome to your new sound system. It's a cool sound system. So we're gonna press on next step and add a wireless network to the device. I'm going to use my home Internet of Things network. Remember, this would be your home network, whether it be an IoT-centric network like a guest network or your actual main Wi-Fi that you connect all your devices to. Now we're going to press on to the next step. It's going to apply the network settings, which means now we have to go back onto our home network. Now, for the most part, all you have to do is go to http://hifiberry.local. But on my network, it's a little different, so I had to manually find the IP address. Once you've typed in HiFiBerry.local, it should bring you to this page, which is still right at the network stage of setup, but it says connected instead of saved. We're gonna press on next step. Okay, so HiFiBerry isn't that awesome of a name, so I'm gonna call this bedroom. Next step, no statistics, and we can take metadata from the internet. Now, all we have to do is finish the setup, and for the most part, we're actually done. So, you can change your speaker to be stereo, mono, and you can also set volume limits. You can also set up room compensation, which is a little more than the scope of this video, but basically, it allows you to compensate the audio standards for your room. We have DSP, which would be speaker crossover, and a few more features that are pretty important if you have a high-end setup, but this is temporary, so if you really want to go and fine-tune, that's where it would be. You can also go to sources. Sources would be AirPlay, Bluetooth, radio, Roon, and Spotify Connect. So if I did Spotify Connect or AirPlay, it's already on. So I can go back and go to General. Now you can actually allow for a software update, which can be done automatically, or you can just start playing music. Okay, so now on the phone, you can do your AirPlay casting or anything you would ever want in the world, and it's all gonna work. Just as simple as doing AirPlay on your phone. We'll do the same thing for Spotify. We'll do lo-fi, connect to device, and we can press on HiFiBerry. So casting is actually working perfectly. You can hear Spotify, and it just broke, but you can hear the music too. And it's perfect. Everything works just fine. Aside from a few hiccups with the SD card, everything was smooth sailing, and just a bunch of next, Wi-Fi password, next. Now you can have whole room audio, whole house audio, or anything with AirPlay, Spotify Connect, Roon, and almost anything you can imagine. Super easy. You can even do it with a $10 Raspberry Pi Zero. So yeah, thanks, and I'll see you guys later.